Hey there, Holy Spirit. This is Father Brian with the next of our Oikos videos. What we're doing in this series of videos is talking through this approach to taking up the task of being witnesses for Jesus Christ through all the world by paying attention to our neighborhoods. And what we've talked about is just affirming that God is a strategic God, and that this call for us to share the gospel takes place for most of us right within the neighborhoods and the networks that we're already placed in by God's will and purpose. And so this approach is just inviting us to see where we are, to look around. And so far in the series of videos that we've been walking through these steps, the first step that we have followed is identifying our oikos, of thinking through the people with whom we spend a lot of our time or have a lot of proximity, and identifying 8 to 15 of them. Bearing in mind that maybe there's somebody the Lord wants us to start spending time with, and but identifying these 8 to 15 people. Last week we talked about the second step, which is to pray regularly for our oikos, and we talked about the benefit of that, of the Lord opening our eyes to them, of us being aware of what are our own obstacles to engaging with them, and also just seeking God's goodness in their life and desiring that our eyes would be open to that, their eyes would be open to that, so that then they're starting to experience with awareness the grace of God already in their lives. So the third step in this oikos process is to invest in your oikos. And this is what I refer to as the fun step. It means that you get to embrace these people as friends, and even if they're in your family, they can be friends. That the role here, the step that we're talking about here, is giving time, creating opportunity to share life together in order that we might grow in trust and friendship with these people. In order for us to hear what somebody has to say to us, to receive a message, we have to have trust. And then we live in a great age of distrust, and so this is a high task for us. But still, it is one that can be a lot of fun. That investing in your oikos often looks like grabbing a cup of coffee together, or having a barbecue in your backyard, or going for a walk, or going to a ball game, or watching a movie together, or whatever it is. These are things, activities of just friendship. And this is one of the things I like about this approach to evangelism is it just really incorporates the life of friendship. And that's what Christ is sending us out to do and to be, is to be friends with these people and to build up trust, to recognize that there are connections in our lives, to create new connections, as we just as we invest in these relationships. Now, I want to point out that this takes time. Relationships take time. It means that we're saying no to some other things in order to invest in these relationships. And this is just part of the cost of good relationships. And we live in a very busy culture with a lot of things that are demanding our time. So as much as this is a fun step, I do want to acknowledge that there is sacrifice involved here. But what we're being asked to do is really just walk out this love of our neighbors, of saying, Lord, I see your goodness, and I'm captivated by the vision of your kingdom. That hopefully in our daily disciplines and our weekly worship, where just the Lord is grabbing more in our heart, and so we can say yes to this call, even though it is costly. So just say, hey, this takes time, this takes energy, even as it is a fun step for us to do, just to invest in these relationships. The last thing that I want to remark on with this is just to remind us that this is not a one-way relationship. Again, the beauty of this particular approach to evangelism is to recognize that God is already at work in the lives of these people that are around us, our friends, our family, our neighbors, co-workers, classmates. And we're seeking to learn as much from them as we want to also teach them about Jesus and a more explicit faith in Jesus. And so we're not saying identify 8 to 15 projects for you to work on and you to look down on in your life. No, these are fully fledged friendships in which we will learn, and our own trust will grow and our own hearts will be changed just as much as we're praying that these people in our lives are changed and transformed by the gospel. So let's get out and do it. Let's, my challenge for you this week is say, okay, identify, maybe choose one or two people in that Oikos list and say, okay, I really want to connect with them. In the next few weeks, here's an activity that I want to do just to be able to engage in this relationship, build up trust, realize God's work in their life, build up that connection as we move forward in these mutual relationships of investing in our Oikos.